the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.
Welcome, everybody, to the Shrimply Good podcast, the only podcast for Pistol Shrimp Baseball. This is episode number 4 of the 2022 season, presented by Grand Bear Resort. I am Jayce Eustice, and this week, you'll notice Lucas Burris is not here, but I am joined by our man on the field and our man of many talents here at Pistol Shrimp, Dominic Liacone. So, Dominic, how you doing, man?
Doing good, Jayce. We're coming off yet another good week of Pistol Shrimp Baseball. Things have been going well. Excited to get back at the good old Veterans Memorial this week for a few games, and glad to see our fans again after a some would say pretty long road trip.
No, absolutely. And I'm sure the players can't wait to get back to Veterans Park and just kind of get back and start playing at Schweikert Stadium. So let's just kind of dive into it. You know, the Shrimp came into this week looking at that long road trip, the longest road trip that they were going to face this season, and a chance to really keep the kind of great stretch they've been on to start this season going. And they kind of got things going Wednesday. They had the off day on Tuesday. I believe last time everybody hearing the podcast would have heard us on Monday, and that off day on Tuesday. So the first game kind of this road trip was on Wednesday, June 22nd. They got the win over the Alton River Dragons, 13-6. And take us through what happened in this one, Dom.
Well, the Pistol Shrimp were able to extend that 4-game winning streak that they had. They built it up to 5. They came into this week really hot, and they got a lot of their wins at Schweikert Stadium. Again, like Lucas and I had mentioned a few weeks ago, the Shrimp were going to go into last week and they were going to play 9 games in 8 days, and 7 of those games, or excuse me, I believe 8 of those games were actually at Schweikert Stadium. So after the long home stretch, they finally go on the road for a bit. They started down in Alton near St. Louis. That bus trip probably wasn't too pleasant with the length, but the Pistol Shrimp came out firing on all cylinders. There were 3 guys in the lineup that had multi-hit games. Dio Cornette is starting to break out of his little funk that he's been having. Absolutely. He's really been hitting the ball well lately. Christian Cleary, when he's got his opportunities, he's been smacking the ball. Another home run for him. And then this stat that I see here, there are 4 guys in the Pistol Shrimp lineup with multi-RBI games. Resetich, Bougie, Dio Cornette, Jared Quant, and Christian Cleary. The way that these guys have been able to put the ball in play. I was talking to manager John Jackmick about it. He says he's got a problem, but it's a real good problem right now because he's only got 9 spots in the lineup for guys that are mashing the ball all over the place. There are way more than 9 guys on this Pistol Shrimp roster that have been seeing the ball and hitting the ball very, very well. Harrison Bodendorf would end up getting the win, even though he goes just 2 innings. He gives up 4 hits on 3 runs, all of them earned. He does strike out 3. Evan Heine got the start in this one. He went 4 complete, giving up just 5 hits and 3 runs, just 1 of them earned. But really, it was all working out well for the Shrimp, and they were able to get most of their runs from big innings. You had a big top of the 4th and then a big top of the 6th that helped propel them over the River Dragons, and it's a good start to the week.
No, absolutely. And kind of the story for the Pistol Shrimp so far this season has been that pitching. They have really leaned on that starting rotation and then turning it over to the bullpen. It's been fantastic. But this one, it was nice to see something a little bit different. Obviously, the pitching gave up 6 runs, which is something we haven't come to expect from this team, which is not a bad game by any stretch, but they've just been so great. So this one was kind of nice to see that Shrimp offense really get going. Obviously, 13 runs, just the 10 hits they were able to get it on too. So they were cashing in when they were getting guys on base. They survived also 3 errors in the field to grab this win on the road and really start this week off on the right foot. So then they would take that momentum and they would make a trip over to Cape to take on the Cape Catfish on Thursday. They would then grab this win 8-5 against Cape, 2-0 on the road trip to start the week. Take us through this one, Dom.
Well, I think the main story of this game and other games that we're going to see throughout this road trip is the Shrimp are able to score early and often. They were able to put up the first run of the ball game in the top of the 1st, even though Cape would eventually come back and tie it early as well. Just some notables here. Again, there's 2 guys in the lineup with multi-hit games. Tucker Bougie, who we will talk about definitely later in this podcast, had 3 hits and 3 RBIs, and then Jack Johnston out of the 3 spot playing short with 2 hits and 2 runs scored. And we take a look at the pitching. Jason Shanner goes 7 innings pitched.
Yeah,
he gives up just 8 hits and 4 earned runs and strikes out 6. And that's what you were mentioning, Jayce. that awesome bullpen that the Shrimp have. Even though the Shrimp do surrender 3 errors in this one, Cape does have 2 themselves, but they're able to come away with a nice victory. And again, another big inning, a big 4-run fifth is able to help propel the Shrimp over the Cape Catfish to make it 6 wins in a row.
No, absolutely. And I think in this one, really the big story was Jason Shanner, what he was able to give you starting off that game, going 7 innings strong. It wasn't perfect. And obviously, if you talk to him, he'd like to be better kind of on that hits and runs category, but he did everything that you could possibly ask. He kept his team in this ball game and gave them that length when every once in a while we've kind of seen Pistol Shrimp starters go about maybe 3 to 4 innings so far this season. It's really nice when you start to see those guys get to that 5, 6. If you're touching 7 in the prospect league, you're having a good game. So it's great to see Jason Shannon do that. The Shrimp did leave 13 men on base, so left some ducks on the pond. Got to clean those up. I'm sure Jack Mick would love to get some more of those runs, but they did enough on the offensive end. They got this win here against Cape. Then they moved to Friday, another game against Cape. And this one, I'm sure, is this one that the Shrimp would love to forget, as one kind of slipped away from them there at the end. Ended up losing to Cape Catfish 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th. So kind of take us through how we got to that conclusion.
Well, the Shrimp, like I mentioned, the last matchup against Cape, were able to get on the board early once again. They score a run in the first inning. Just some notables here for the Shrimp. There was only one guy in the lineup with a multi-hit game, Cole Lucky, the right fielder, hitting out of that 5 spot, he's been really seeing the ball well. And that's what Jack Mick, when I've gotten a chance to talk to him, he's been very impressed with how his outfielders have been able to hit and drive the ball. And Cole Lucky has looked really good in these last few weeks. Chance Resetich has a hit and an RBI. Lucky had an RBI, like I mentioned, 2 for 5. And you also see Jared Quant getting his first triple of the season. And triples are very hard to come by for the Shrimp this year. Obviously, not just because of the park that they play in and they call home Schweikert Stadium. You know, its dimensions very, very hitter friendly with the long ball, but they just haven't been able to when they've been on the road. We haven't seen a lot of balls being driven into the deepest parts of the ballpark. And not to say that's a problem at all, but it's just rare for this team to come by triples this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So interesting. Chance Resetich has a home run. Resetich, Lucky, and Quant all have RBI. Jared Quant had a multi-RBI game with 3. And we take a look at the pitching. Ty Weatherly, who looked great on the mound. And again, we're talking more about the starting pitching. He goes 6 complete, gives up 7 hits, only 1 run, and he Ks 9. He looked absolutely on the mound. They're going to the 9-2. They unfortunately get walked off by the Cape Catfish, and they lose by a final score of 6-5. They were out hit 13-7. Both teams, I should say, committed an error. And honestly, Jayce, in a league like the Prospect League, one, it's hard to keep winning games when you're playing so much and so often. And just in general, it's hard for a team to win 6 games in a row. And the Shrimp have not only been able to go on good winning streaks this year, but they've looked so much better in the first half of the season compared to what they did last year. And you know what? Sometimes it's baseball. It happens. And you know what? Would the Shrimp like to have this game back? Absolutely. But they still have that great winning record to their name. And hey, it's baseball. Baseball, that's why a lot of people say baseball is the greatest sport in the world, because you never know what's going to happen. And unfortunately, they just weren't able to get it done that night.
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of touched on it too. Really, the story for last season, or the first half of last season, was they were losing a lot of these 1-run games. And so far, story for the Pistol Shrimp, they're winning a lot of these 1-run games. And that's a lot due to that pitching. Done a great job. This one, you touched on it. It just kind of slipped away there at the end. Gave up 2 runs in the 7th and those 3 runs in the 9th to losing on the walk-in, walk-off fashion for Cape. So this was a tough one for the Shrimp, but, you know, you touched on it. Ty Weatherly, great start, touching 6 innings, 9 Ks. He looked great. And just to be honest, all the pitching staff looked really good. We kind of saw Kevin Davis really struggle for the first time this season. He has been spot on and one of the best pitchers in the Prospect League out of that bullpen. He's been great. So this was a tough one, but it was really nice to see kind of them being able to turn it around right away. They were able to bounce back. So moving on from Friday after that walk-in, walk-off loss, go to Saturday, go to O'Fallon, and they went there with a vengeance and got the win in this rain-shortened contest. They win 11-4 in O'Fallon. Kind of take us through this one, Dom. How did this happen?
Well, Tucker Bougie, the Illinois Valley's very own Shohei Ohtani, if you will, got
Absolutely.
got the start in this one, and boy, did he look good. You know, not just on the mound, but also from the plate as well. He went 4 1/3 innings, giving up just 6 hits and 3 runs. He struck out 7. He finally gets his first victory of the year, improving to 1-0. And when we first saw Tucker Bougie in his first few starts, he was looking absolutely great. We saw him on his first career start as a Pistol Shrimp against Danville at home. He gave up no runs or hits. Then we saw him in Lafayette a few weeks ago, and he looked dominant there as well, but he just wasn't able to get the offense early. This time, the Shrimp were able to support him with some runs in this 7-inning shortened game. The Shrimp win 11-4. They have 14 hits compared to the O'Fallon Hoots is 7. Both teams give up an error. Now, looking at some things here, another thing I like to see is almost everyone in the lineup is just contributing in some way. You've got 3 Pistol Shrimp with 3 hits. Zach Lane out of the 2 spot and playing right in this one. We will see him bounce around from the middle of the infield and also in the outfield all year. He had 2 doubles. Jack Johnston also had 2 doubles to his name. Dio Cornette is starting to get real hot with the bat with another homer. You like to see the power out of him because that's the type of hitter he is. Put balls in the air and put them out. And Resetich, Johnston, Witt, Dio, as I mentioned, Isaiah Hart, and Tucker Bougie, all RBIs in this one. But again, the story really is, even though that Bougie surrendered a run early in the first from the home run in the bottom of the first inning, he was able to calm himself and come back out firing with that 4 1/3 innings pitched. He looked great on the mound, and he's been doing that at the plate as well. He's really everything you could ever ask for out of a guy that's a two-way player.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's great to see him getting hot from both sides too. Tucker is off to a fantastic start here in the Prospect League. And Zach Losi too came in this one. He went 1 2/3 innings pitched, just a 1 hit, 1 run, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. So it's nice to see some of those bats really get going. Dio is on a nice little stretch. He got hot at the beginning, hit a little bit of a slump, but he's coming right back with a vengeance. So it's great to see that. So Shrimp were able to grab that win in that rain shortened game on Saturday night before heading out to finish that road trip, which happened actually today as we're talking. So it would have been yesterday as you guys are hearing this on Sunday in Danville against a conference opponent, a division opponent that they are neck and neck with. And this was a hard fought battle through and through and a tough one. Unfortunately, the Shrimp do come out on bottom in this one as they lose 2-1 in Danville on Sunday.
Yeah, not a lot of offense really to be seen from this one. Just 8 combined hits, and both teams had 2 errors. But for the Shrimp, there were no extra base hits in this one alone, and really only 2 extra base hits for the Danville Dans off of a double and a triple. The pitching was great on both sides, and this kind of reminded me of opening night where Tyler Conklin had a great outing, but he just gave up that 1 long ball early in his outing, and that's really all that the Dans would need to keep putting their foot on the gas, and they didn't look back. And this was a very low scoring game. Like you mentioned, 2-1 final. Not a lot of offense to be seen out of the Shrimp, but the pitching, again, it was great. Herzog, although he got the loss, went 6 complete innings, gave up just 3 hits and 2 runs. He struck out 7, and Conklin then out of the bullpen gives up just 2 hits and 2 complete innings, no runs, and strikes out 2. You can't really ask for any more from your pitching when they're only giving up 2 combined runs, but unfortunately, the offense just was not there for the Shrimp this afternoon. They fall to a 15-9 record, and even though that's only third in the East Wabash River Division, the Shrimp have looked great, and this is a very competitive division that we'll keep touching on more throughout this episode. But when you're playing a good team like the Dans, again, that's just baseball sometimes where, the other night you come out and score 11 runs and then you can only score 2 the next. That's baseball. Yeah. And the offense just was not there for the Shrimp this afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. The pitching staff for the Pistol Shrimp was fantastic. You couldn't ask for anything better. Just the Dans just allowed a little bit less damage, and credit to them as they were able to get through that one. Isaiah Hart got the lone RBI in his 1 for 3 games. So good to see him continue to roll in the right direction. But, Dan's grabbed this. They got they got their 2 runs, 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 5th. Shrimp grab their lone run in the 7th and lose real close in this pitcher's duel. And like you said, they end this week of play in the Prospect League with a 15-9 overall record. They do have that 8-4 record at home, so winning 2 to every 1 loss at home, and a 7-5 away record. So that is good enough for third in the East Wabash River Division. But as you mentioned, it is incredibly tight, as right now Wabash Valley Rex currently leads the division with a 16-8 record. They are tied with Danville with a 16-8 record. Pistol Shrimp have 15-9 there in third, and Lafayette, who's still kind of looming, at 12-12. They are still very much in it as we kind of get down. One bad week for a couple teams and one good week for another, and we might be talking about things very differently. So, Dom, if you want, just kind of take us through where kind of the team is sitting as far as the kind of stats that they've accumulated as far as the ranks in the Prospect League.
Well, statistically speaking, for the Shrimp, they've been hitting the ball very well. They're in that upper echelon of Prospect League teams and hitting. They're hitting 270 as a team through the most of this first half, and they also lead the Prospect League in doubles with 53. Pitching wise, they've been absolutely amazing. They are first in ERA with a 3.74 staff and team ERA. They're also second in strikeouts with 252. Fielding percentage wise, kind of in the lower tier of Prospect League teams, but they're still fielding over 950 with that .951 fielding percentage, which is good for 13th in the Prospect League. They're also 13th in errors with 43. So the errors, we've definitely seen them start to rack up a little bit. They died down after the very start of the season for the Shrimp, and then they started playing very good and clean defensive ball. The errors have kind of started to loom on the Shrimp a little bit, and cleaner baseball is going to have to be played for the Shrimp as we head into the final stretch here with these last 7-8 or so games that are left in the first half. And one thing I want to mention, I truly believe that the East Wabash River Division is the most competitive division by far in the Prospect League. Every team besides one in this division is over 500, and the team that's not is Lafayette, and they're right at 500 at 12-12. You take a look at other divisions, all these teams are really like looming more towards that 500 record. And I mean, you take a look at Chillicothe's division, the Ohio River Valley Division, also in the Eastern Conference. Chillicothe is the only team that's over 500. I truly believe that this first half division, the Wabash River Division out of the Eastern Conference, is the hardest to come out of the first half and walking away with a playoff spot. And it's going to be tough. And manager John Jackmick mentioned to me that the final 10 games or so in a division race that is this tight, they are playoff type games. And we are definitely going to see some this week, because if the Shrimp want to secure their spot, they got to get hot. And I think they are hot enough to get this done. They just need to keep winning ball games and playing consistently like they have been, playing with that swagger, because I don't think I've ever seen a Pistol Shrimp team as close as this one, Jayce. Yeah. And this is going to be a fun first half race for that division crown.
No, absolutely. Whoever comes out of that division is going to be a well-earned spot, whether it's going to be Rex, the Shrimp, or it's going to be the Dans. It's going to be a dogfight to the end. And if we know manager, owner, John Jackmick, he wants to get back to the playoffs. That is no secret. So it's great to see kind of the Pistol Shrimp where they're at as far as Prospect League rankings as a team goes. But I want to take a little look into how some of the individual Pistol Shrimp players are looking as far as their rankings in the Prospect League. So as far as on the batting side, Chance Resetich has been fantastic this entire season for the Pistol Shrimp. He ends this week tied for fourth in hits in the Prospect League with 30. He also comes in third in runs with 23. Luke Adams comes into this end of this week tied for fourth in doubles with 7. He's right there with Chance Resetich, who also is tied for fourth with 7. And Chance Resetich is tied for 9th in hit by pitches. Lucas's, shout out to Lucas's favorite stat there, with 6. So good job there for Chance being in the top 10. Over on the pitching side too, we've had some great numbers as Jared Herzog. He's now tied for 3rd in wins with 3. Tyler Conklin, after his outing here today, got into the top 10 as far as innings pitched. He's tied for 8th with 22. Jared Herzog tied for 2nd in the Prospect League now with 35 Ks. He's off to a fantastic start. And Kevin Davis, another strikeout, just machine, tied for 7th in the Prospect League and strikeouts with 28. So we're starting to see some more top 10. Some guys are climbing. Some guys are right there in that kind of 11 to 20 range. And I'm sure we're going to see some more as the season goes on and some of these guys get hot. So that's kind of where the Pistol Shrimp kind of sit statistically as we end this week. But now kind of ending this week, looking forward to next week. Dom, what do we have looking forward to us at this coming week?
Well, let's kind of preview the schedule coming up for the Shrimp here on Monday, June 27th, which is tomorrow. The day we're recording this is Sunday, the 26th. So tomorrow we will be taking on the Danville Dans at 7:05 p.m. at Veterans Memorial Park in Schweikert Stadium. Noah Schultz is going to get the start, so you are not going to want to miss the fiery and tall Randy Johnson-like left-hander on the mound tomorrow night. If you're going to come to a game this week, make sure it's tomorrow's, because you are going to see some heat and a nasty wipeout slider. You're not going to want to miss it. Tuesday, the Shrimp will hit the road and take on the Quincy Gems away from Veterans Memorial Park. That game will start at 6:35. Then on Wednesday, June 29th, we will travel to Burlington, Iowa to take on the Bees. That game will be at 6:30 p.m. And then Thursday as well, on the 30th of June, we will be in Burlington again taking on the Bees. That's another 6:30 start. Friday, we're back home on July 1st against the Bees again. So a 3-game series against Burlington. We'll play 2 at their place. Then we'll come over to back home, I should say, to Veterans Memorial to take on Burlington for a 7:05 p.m. start on that night. Then Saturday, July 2nd, we will be hosting the Normal Corn Belters once again, as we did last week. That game will be at 7:05 p.m. And to round out the week on July 3rd, the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes will be hosting us. We will be heading down south to the state's capital for a matchup that will start at 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, a lot of exciting things coming up for the Pistol Shrimp, and some even more exciting things coming up because, as you mentioned, returning back home for Monday, and that is going to be a fun night at Schweikert Stadium because that is going to be Arts in the Park night. A lot of fun things scheduled for anybody coming by and checking things out. We have a food vendor of Maria's Pizza will be there. We'll also have the Illinois Valley Flute Ensemble recital. That'll be taking place before the game at 6:15 p.m. We'll have Music Suite 408 Orchestra students will be performing the national anthem. We will have First Federal Savings Bank sidewalk chalk stations around the kind of concourse. You'll also have cupcake decorating from Hy-Vee Peru for the first 100 fans in attendance. We will have caricatures courtesy of Lori Janko Wilkie, State Farm Insurance agent. Pistol Shrimp temporary tattoos will be available as well. And pre-made canvas decorating contests will be taking place throughout the night, and just so much more. It's going to be an absolutely exciting night at the ballpark. All the kind of arts you can think of. We got sidewalk chalk, obviously tattoos being handed out, just anything to kind of express the art and just have some fun with it. It's going to be a great night at the ballpark. So then, as you mentioned, the Pistol Shrimp will go on another midweek road trip, return home on Friday. And on Friday, July 1st, will be a fantastic night too, as it is Little League night, one of the favorites from last season in Peru. During that, our food vendor will be the Doghouse of LaSalle. We will have a lineup for a parade around the field that will begin at 6:15 p.m. The pregame parade will begin at 6:30. All Little Leaguers will remain on the field until the conclusion of the national anthem, which will happen around 7 p.m. And one lucky Little Leaguer will be selected to throw out the first pitch at 6:45. So be sure to check out our social media this week for all of the kind of Little League night first pitch contest. One lucky little leaguer will be chosen following the contest to throw out the first pitch. And now we have something exciting, on the Shrimply Good podcast. And that is, we are going to have the live drawing of one lucky Little League team that will be selected to run out with the Pistol Shrimp players as they're being announced for starting lineup. That'll take place around 6:55 p.m. So without further ado, it is time to announce the run out with the players contest winner. After over 40 local Little League teams entered to win, there can only be one winner, unfortunately. So I have taken all of our contestants, put it in the little hat here, got everything ready to go. Let's mix it up and see who we get.
It'll be exciting.
And
who is it going to be?
The lucky team will be the Peru Fire Department Minor League Baseball team. The Peru Fire Department Minor League Baseball team is the lucky Little League team for Little League night that will be able to run out as our starting 9 are announced at about 6:55. So that's super exciting. Be sure to kind of stay tuned for that and be ready for that. So it's going to be exciting night for Little League night. And then after Little League night on Saturday, July 2nd, we will then host SoQ night. SoQ night will be food vendor of the Doghouse of LaSalle. And we are very happy to have our corporate sponsors, corporate partner SoQ join us at the ballpark. It's going to be a fun night. It always is, especially when they come out and join us. And who doesn't love Saturday night baseball, especially in Peru, Schweikert Stadium? You know, it's the Shrimp are playing great. It's going to be a fantastic game. So be sure to come on out and join us in Peru. And as always, every game is also going to have beer from Tangled Roots Brewing Company, cocktails from Star Union Spirits, on-field activities for every age. Just ask Dom. He's all over the place trying to get people to help him out. So be sure to look out for him. We'll have the SoQ $50,000 shrimp rattle and roll, which is a fan favorite because why wouldn't it be? I think last week we had our first 3 out of 5. We were starting to move in the right direction.
Exciting.
Oh, we're always cheering for it up on the booth. Exactly.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. The odds are ridiculous, but you know what? It's so much fun to see when people win and you get a 3 out of 5 roll.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. It's
well,
awesome.
And of course the prizes are tiered too. So if you get 1, you get 2, you get 3, you start to move up. I believe 3 is some shrimp merch that you're going to be going home with. So obviously drink tokens as well, some swag bags. So a lot of things going on, a lot of chances to go home with some fun items from Pistol Shrimp games. So obviously, we also have our lucky number giveaways from Ferguson, Jersey Mike's, Heritage Health, and the Illinois Valley YMCA going on at every game as well. And we can't forget, of course, the Mr. Sparkle Auto Spa's dirtiest car in the lot. They give away a free car wash every single home game. So be sure to come on out and join us. It's always a fun time, and we're always happy to see you guys. So a lot of fun activities for the entire family to enjoy. But now, Dom, it is time on the Shrimply Good podcast to announce our Shrimply Good Players of the Week presented by Tangled Roots Brewing Company. So without further ado, who is the first shrimp player receiving the Shrimply Good Player of the Week honor?
Well, our first player for this week's Shrimply Good Player of the Week honor is going to go to Mr. Tucker Bougie, number 31 himself. This week, he hit 411 in 17 at-bats. He scored 2 runs with 7 hits. He also had 3 or 4 multi-hit games, 6 RBIs, 4 walks, and a stolen base to his name. That's not all, though, folks. Remember, he does it both. He's our Shohei Ohtani, 4 1/3 innings pitched after he got the start, one of the starts this week against O'Fallon, to be exact. He went 4 1/3 innings pitched. He did get the victory. He gave up just 6 hits and 3 runs and walked 3, but struck out 7. Tucker Bougie, our first Shrimply Good Player of the Week.
Yeah, congratulations there to Bougie. He's doing it on both ends, and he's really heating up on both ends. It's great to see. And for our other Shrimply Good Player of the Week, I'm going to go on that pitching side, which has been the strong side for the Pistol Shrimp. I'm going to Ty Weatherly, man. Ty Weatherly had a great week, a couple of appearances. He went 7 2/3 innings pitched, gave up 7 hits, just 1 run, though. 1 walk, 11 strikeouts, and how about a 1.25 ERA? So we've kind of seen, if you're going to kind of nitpick about the Pistol Shrimp pitching, you want to see those walk totals get down a little bit. And Weatherly did his job, just 1 walk and over 7 innings pitched and 11 Ks. He's looking good on the mound, and just another arm out of that Pistol Shrimp pen or Pistol Shrimp starting rotation that Giacomet can go to. And pretty much there's no wrong move is what we've seen so far. Is it's just kind of pick your poison. So Ty Weatherly, great week for him, as he is the second of our Shrimply Good Player of the Week. So any thoughts as we kind of wrap this up? Dom, how are you feeling? You know, we're kind of getting into the groove of the season. How's the vibe in the clubhouse? What's going on?
The vibe in the clubhouse is great. You know, everyone is super excited. I mean, I mentioned, I don't think I've seen a Pistol Shrimp team like this close in all my 4 years working for the organization. I mean, this has just been a super, super fun summer so far. The Shrimp are hot right now. We're rolling. We're having fun. We're doing great in the first half, and hopefully we can carry that on to the second half as well. Shout out to my boy Ty Weatherly, another Ball State Cardinal. I want to give that shout out. Chirp,
there
chirp.
You go.
Good stuff. Now the pitching's looked absolutely incredible. and our bats are getting hot as well. Like to see guys starting to drive the ball, put them in gaps, and also put some out. We've seen some great stuff from guys like Dio, who, like you mentioned, was hot at the beginning, kind of cooled down. Now he's back to where he is. Cleary's been hitting the ball well. Quant's been seeing some good stuff. You've also had Tucker Bougie doing it from both sides. Cole Lucky. I mean, I can go on about this Pistol Shrimp lineup.
Absolutely.
But like John Jackmick said, he's got a problem where he's trying to find enough spots in the lineup, because you can only put 9 in there, and there are more than 9 guys hitting the ball absolutely fantastic right now. But it's been a really, really nice last 2 weeks of Pistol Shrimp baseball. Hopefully we can end the first half of the season on a high note and potentially come out with a first half division winner.
Absolutely. And it's been a lot of fun. And I'm sure everybody who's come out and enjoyed games at Schweikert Stadium has had a lot of fun as well. So we hope to see everybody at the ballpark for this next coming week for some Pistol Shrimp baseball. Obviously, we got 3 home games coming up Monday, and then you can end your week Friday and Saturday. Just a great beginning and end to a week. But if you can't make it out to the game, remember, you can always listen live for free on the Pistol Shrimp Radio Network on your phone or online. And you can also catch every Pistol Shrimp baseball game on Prospect League TV by going to prospectleague.tv to learn more. So thank you guys all for stopping by for episode 4 of the Shrimply Good podcast presented by Grand Bear Resort. So remember, fear the claw, and we'll see you guys next week.
Do the Pistol Shrimp. Do the Pistol Shrimp.